and welcome back to the Leinster Listen. I'm your host Mick Lennon, and this is episode 8, the review. We're reviewing the Ulster game of the URC Winter Pros just gone by. In this episode we'll cover some overall opinion of the game, the analysis of the game events, some injury updates post-game and the pool positioning, and then we'll have a discussion section which will be the Wolfhounds versus Edinburgh game in the Celtic Challenge. Alright, so I suppose just in general we'll get straight into it. The score was 24-20 to Leinster. If you remember, my prediction was 31-21 to Leinster. So it wasn't too far off the mark there with Ulster's 20 points. But yeah, we definitely didn't get that 10 plus that I was expecting. I did see it as a close game though, and I was nearly spot on Ulster, so I'll take that. And look, sure, if Leinster had gotten another try, they would have proved me right. So we had a full Irish referee in TMO. Brace was the referee there, and if you have watched the match, you'll know that there was a big decision on one of Ryan's ruck clear-outs. Look, we will get into that later on. Not really on that point myself. Now, I don't think it was a yellow. We'll talk a bit later on that. The overall opinion on the Leinster game and the Leinster performance, look, not an easy win, not an easy watch, but a win nonetheless. I think it's actually the Leinster marketing team trying to add suspense to these games, because we just seem to want to put pressure on ourselves and make the fans sit in the edge of their seats. And look, the scoreboard didn't really reflect the mistakes that we had, but 62% possession, and like Leicester, we denied Ulster any tries in the second half. The scrums were excellent, and scrums wins games. Unfortunately, Prendergast really did not feel himself in the first half, but improved in the second half. Yeah, so look, without further ado, let's get into the analysis. Alright, straight away, we didn't actually start this game as we usually do with a nice early try. Unfortunately, it was the opposite. The first real event in this game was in the 9th minute when we got a penalty after a lot of phases. We turned over a ruck, got possession there for Ulster not releasing, and unfortunately, Prendergast did not kick us out of touch. We were saved by our forwards actually getting the ball back after a kick. But yeah, that spelled the first problem for Prendergast kicking in that game. Following on that, 5 minutes later, 14th minute, the first try of the game, Ulster, Werner Cock. They drew us in with phases in front of the post. You know, anyone could see it coming a mile away. I actually sit pretty much beside where the score or the try was scored. And you could see that Frawley was our last man back on the right wing. And he's slowly getting pulled in slightly from his post with all the phases that were going out to the blind side. Of course, Doak could see this. Werner Cock was raring for it. They saw their chance. Doak kicks it over, lobs perfectly over Frawley, and Werner Cock lands that in. Textbook try there, kick over the top, and Werner Cock is a fantastic player. Thankfully, Doak actually missed that conversion, so the score then was 0-5 to Ulster. About 6 minutes later then, we actually had a perfect opportunity to score a try. The 20th minute, we were making phases on the other side of the pitch. A lot of forward play, picks and goes. Frawley actually got the ball, made a sprint, and the only man outside him who only had one defender to his name as well was JJ Kenny, and I think he tried to feign a pass to him, but unfortunately didn't follow through with that and got swallowed up by the defenders. Thankfully, we did have advantage there, and we did lose that battle there with Frawley. However, went back then for a penalty for us, which ended up going to the line out. Straight over, we were in their phases, or in their 5 metres on the 27th minute for what seemed like an age. It was picks and goes. There was lads picking up, trying to bash through the Ulster defence. Were fantastic. It must have been about 27 phases in their 5 metre line. But like all things, we ended up putting them way too much under pressure. They knocked the ball on, which ended up giving us a scrum right under the posts. When that happens, what's the next thing? We're going to try spread the backs out left and right, give us options, really spread those defenders for Ulster. And look, it went textbook, won that scrum. The scrums were fantastic, mind you, I did say that. But it went out to the right wing, couple of phases there. We got another advantage, and then Prendergast pulled the trigger, threw it out deep to Ioane, and Ioane crashed through Balakoon to score his first try. Absolutely perfect. Couldn't have made it any better. It was just left of the post as well, so that was a very easy conversion for Sam Prendergast there. That brought us back in front on the 27th minute, 7 points to 5. This, as I said before, with Prendergast just not feeling himself, the 32nd minute, a lot of effort put in by our forwards to try overturn a ball that was within our 10 metres. Got a penalty, and Prendergast went to kick it out, and it didn't go out to touch, so it went straight into the Ulster hands. Thankfully there, the kick from, I think it was Stockdale, didn't go too far, and we actually won that line out as well to retain possession. So fantastic. Unfortunately, our woes were not finished there. From that play, there was a couple of passes going hands. It was a little bit pedestrian. It wasn't fantastic passing. And then unfortunately it got to Charlie Tector, and he tries to do an offload in the 33rd minute to Frawley. It just goes straight into Nathan Doak's hand. And, Doak absolutely belts it down the pitch. And who is there to chase it? Werner Cock. I know I did say in the preview that the two ones we had to, focus on here was probably Tom O'Toole, Stockdale, and Werner Cock. Werner Cock is just, he's too fast. You cannot, if he gets going, there's no stopping him. There's no catching him. Anyway, Doak kicks the ball and Cock is on it. He's flying on the pitch, right underneath the post, dives over it, and easy try there. So look, it spelled pretty bad news for us. That was easily converted there by Doak as well. And so 33rd minute there, it was 7 points to 12 to Ulster. Unfortunately, I keep saying unfortunately, and it was unfortunately a very poor first half for us. It did feel like we were under pressure all the time. Only about 4 minutes later, a very, textbook try again. A lot of phases inside our own 10 metres. Gets out to the wing, and who's there? Not a winger, but Tom Stewart. It gets into Tom Stewart's hand. He makes a run, and unfortunately, defenders were just falling off him. They just could not tackle him properly. Charlie Tector tried to tackle him, completely missed that tackle. Lowe tackled him. He gets pushed off by Tom Stewart. He does try to get back up, and he does make it back to him to try to re-tackle him before he gets to the line, but it was no hope. Tom Stewart literally just pushed him off like he was nothing, and he pretty much walked over the line with that. And yeah, there we have it, another try for Ulster in the 37th minute. Thankfully again, Doak was not on his top form, and he did miss that conversion. So that was 7-17 then to Ulster, and that was actually the half-time score too. So at this point, half-time, I was talking to a couple of the supporters around me. The nerves were out. We didn't know what was going on. And, you could probably say, right, well, there's two quite, off-the-cuff tries there, both from, kicks. One being a very good kick across the pitch, but another one just being a chase down by Werner Cock. But we shouldn't be putting ourselves in that position to begin with. So look, 10 points down, nerves, supporters were not knowing what was going on. And of course, the Ulstermen were absolutely astounded, or they were delighted with that. And, they were all singing and being happy and merry. And, fair play to them. They should be 10 points up in the Aviva half-time. It's not probably what they were expecting either. So anyway, in the second half, three big events then, I suppose, that happened, not in terms of plays themselves, but we had the McCarthy brothers coming on with Ty Furlong, which I think was probably one of the most crucial decisions. I think it was around the 55th minute. Proper impact bench forwards coming on there, and it was a game changer. The game it felt like a different game altogether after that. They were making moves, and Paddy McCarthy, fantastic scrummager, and Big Joe, just every ball he gets, it's a fantastic bit of play. Fortunately, we teched her off for a HIA then as well, and I do believe he failed that HIA. So Harry Byrne had come on for him. So we had both Harry Byrne and Sam Prendergast on the same time, same pitch. And actually Harry Byrne took over the kicks. So unfortunately for Sam Prendergast there probably was a decision made in the box to say, look, take it over for the second half. There's obviously something wrong. One thing that went well for us there, and I would never want to say it's a good thing for players to be injured, but Balcoon actually went off injured in the 49th minute. And honestly, that was big for us because he was a big player for Ulster. He every time he had the ball, he was making meters over the gain line, and I think it probably came at a good time for us because we were getting tired in the wings as well. But nevertheless, 53rd minute, big try for Leinster. Good passing from the other side of the pitch, making our phase play. Prendergast passes shallow to Lowe. loads a huge arching pass over to Kenny. And Kenny is actually about 10 metres away from 2 defenders. He does a little bit of goose step, beats the first defender, and has absolute speed on him, on his back. No stopping him. Class try there, JJ Kenny. And I did actually think that he would be the man in the match by the end of that match, if you remember last week. But alas, he didn't get the man of the match. But look, fantastic try by him. Unfortunately, that was not converted by Harry Byrne. It did actually hit the post and came back. But that put us 12-17. Still trailing Ulster there by 5 minutes. Then the big event, 58th minute. Everyone has seen it so far. We're all talking about it. There's mixed opinions there online. James Ryan clears a ruck out with his left arm tucked. Gets a yellow card. You know, they said he made contact with the head. They said it was foul play. Look, I don't see it. I get the left arm was tucked, but he didn't hit his head. And I don't know what went on there. Maybe I'm wrong. But from my viewing, it looked like the Ulster player was holding his head out of instinct of that. Like, the man is well over 6 foot. He was completely arched. He was as low as you could get. The defender was pretty much like his head was about 2 feet off the ground, and he went in through his shoulders. I would have seen. Like, he can't get any lower. I don't exactly know how you're supposed to clear out a ruck in that sense, if that's the case. But look, Brace decided, and the TMO decided, that's a yellow card. So off James Ryan went for his 100 cap. And unfortunately, the very same thing essentially what happened. Well, no, actually, obviously the first yellow that he got, that he's been banned for a while, was much worse than this, and that was reckless. I honestly don't think this was in any way this. And how can you play rugby? How can you defend your own rucks if that wasn't what you do in that situation? Anyway, alas, we won't spend too long on it. But look, the bottom line is I actually don't think it was a yellow. 61st minute, then about 3 minutes later, after the ball was kicked from that penalty, they end up getting another penalty because for us not releasing within our hour 22, and Doak slots that over pretty easy for them. So that brought the score to 12-20 to Ulster. So we're now trailing, 8 points coming into the 62nd minute. So it was panic stations, I suppose, at that point. We were winning the scrums, we were winning the mauls. Our forwards were definitely winning the game for us. But with 18 minutes left, needing to get practically 10 points on the board, it is a scary thing. Thankfully, in the 66th minute, we did get a try. So a very much needed try at this point. I think everyone in the crowd was very quiet, apart from the Ulstermen, who were all singing "Stand Up for the Ulstermen" every 5 minutes. So that was driving us absolutely demented. So it was a lovely an overarch pass directly to Lowe. Last defender there, he, like most defenders trying to stop Lowe there, was no chance. He was quite quick there and just place it down in the corner. Unfortunately, that conversion was also missed by Harry Byrne, but that did bring us to 17-20. So a fantastic change of pace there for us, and a crucial score for us. In the 71st minute, a huge event then as well. We actually made huge ground there, and we were coming on for a try. Honestly, it was on the books, and it was brought back then by the TMO. No one really knew what was going on, but on second viewing, Dave McCann had actually done an intentional knock on from one of the tackles. Now, I didn't actually see it to begin with, because I went to hand straight to Harry Byrne, who played it on, and we got very close to scoring a try at that point. But anyway, the TMO and Brace decided no, that was definitely grounds for a yellow card. So off Dave McCann went for the last 10 minutes, so he wouldn't be back on the pitch. So that put Ulster back down to 14 men in the last 10 minutes. 72nd minute, we actually lost the ball directly after that. A huge set of phases. Like, honestly, we were definitely going to score on this, and it just got jackaled out. They forced turnover. No penalty there or anything, but anyway, lost the ball. However, who comes along with Scott Penny to then re-jackal the ball, hold on to it, and then I think it was an illegal side entry to that ruck for him as well to try pull him off, but turn the ball over within 5 metres for us. Absolutely perfect. Harry Byrne then gets that ball, slots it into the 5 metre, line out, straight onto the line out. As you do, you know what's coming here. Absolutely picture perfect. Goes into the ball, heaving through, Ball is in Dan Sheehan's hand. Exact same as Leicester. Over the line. Perfect. So that actually brought us to 22-20. And that was expertly converted by Harry Byrne to get us a 24-20 scoreboard. I mean, the place erupted. That was one of the best tries we've seen happen, and it was right in front of me, so I was delighted. And then, that was in the 74th minute. Obviously, the game's not done there. One try, Ulster have it. But I have to give it to the forward men. Absolutely stellar play then for the next 6 minutes. We did not have a bad play. We won every scrum that was there for the last 6 minutes. There was 2 scrums, with the very last scrum being ours to finish the game. But, I mean, we forced them back in every single play, and it ended up that we forced them to do a knock-on, and that was our final play. But look, you have to give it to them. It was a fantastic set of play. Jack Conan got man of the match, well deserved. Him in the last 10 minutes was just, electric. The 2 McCarthy brothers played a blinder there as well. Look, let's just forget about the first half. I think Leinster are a second half team. As I said, the Leinster marketing team want us to be on the edge of our seats for these. They want to, bring in exciting games. That must be exactly what's happening. But yeah, look, job done. Ugly win, but a win nonetheless. All right, cool. So that's the events of the match done. We actually have normally go into the injury updates here. We've no updates officially from the Leinster team. I guess it's probably a little bit too soon for that, and we will have to wait and see what happens with James Ryan with his yellow card. I'm sure Leo Cullen and the gang there will be appealing that. If I could say, I don't see it as yellow, and I'm finding unsure how you're supposed to clear that ruck out to begin with. I'm very sure that the officials for Leinster will be bringing in an appeal form for that yellow card, and hopefully it is overturned. I just think it's an outrage, really, and what can you do? Pool position, and then for us, we are 6th. I think we were in 7th, so we've gone up 1. We're still actually behind by Ulster, and only because they got that losing bonus point from us in that game, which is unfortunate, really. But look, in no way a bad place right now. 6th, probably looking at 5th or 4th quite easily if we get another win under our belt, especially if we get that win in Thomond Park coming up. We're actually 2nd in our Irish Shield. We're with 5 points there. We're actually still trailing Munster, who have 9 points. All right, so this is an interesting discussion point. Now, we do want to bring attention to another game that happened this weekend: the Wolfhounds versus Edinburgh in the Celtic Challenge. And look, if you haven't heard of the Celtic Challenge, it's a mixture of Scottish and Irish teams that play against each other every year. And the Wolfhounds are primarily a team built from Leinster and Ulster. And there's also another team called the Clovers, and they're primarily built from Munster and Connacht. It's men's and women's, but the women's were playing this weekend. So the Wolfhounds played Edinburgh at Saturday at 2:30 p.m. in Energy Park, Donnybrook, and it was a great match to watch. Honestly, it's a shame I couldn't get down to Energy Park to watch it live, but I did get a chance to watch it on YouTube, which I think all of the matches are streamed on YouTube. So if you're looking for some extra rugby to watch, do tune in on them. Anyway, I've a couple of details about that game. Absolutely dominating win by the Wolfhounds. It was 27 points clear in the end. Fantastic game. I will note that we have a lot of Leinster representatives on that team. We've Robin O'Connor, Vicky Elms-Kinlan, Aoife Dalton was actually the captain, Eve Higgins, Maggie Boylan, Dana O'Brien, Nisha Smith, Kate Jordan, Linda Dugang, Cleena Concabar, Aoife Corcoran, Jade Gaffney, Amy Larn, and last but not least, Stacey Flood. I think that's over 65% of the players there for the Wolfhounds are from Leinster, which is fantastic to see. We've 8 out of the 15 starters there, 7 out of the 8 replacements. Fantastic for Leinster to have those numbers there. The non-Leinster players there obviously deserve a shout out here. Aveen Riley from Connacht, Cara McLean from Ulster, India Daly from Ulster, Sophie Barrett from Ulster, Poppy Garvey from Connacht, Maeve O'Leary, Munster, Claire Bowles from Ulster, and Maeve Clenaghan from Ulster. Yeah, I suppose if you watched it, you'd definitely be in the same tune as me. From the very first whistle, the Wolfhounds were out for blood. The first try was inside the first 3 minutes. A fantastic try as well. They did keep that ferocity all the way in until the end. It was amazing. They got a try in the first 3 minutes, and then they capped that game off with a 79 minute. So either side of that game, just astounding work put in place. Dugang unstoppable there at the end, pushing off tacklers. I think she bet, must have been 4 or 5 defenders there just walk it over the line. It was fantastic. The lineouts were excellent. And also, like Leinster there, they denied any tries from Edinburgh in the second half. Like that in itself, I think is some achievement to deny a team a sniff of a try in 40 minutes. Well, actually, it's probably more than 40 minutes second with all the stoppages. But we do have to give a huge mention there to Aoife Dalton. Absolutely perfect game from her. Great game to captain as well. At one point, she actually absolutely floored one of her counterparts in the Edinburgh team around the 30th minute or so. She just knew, she predicted the play coming. She was full throttle towards one of the carriers and annihilated her. Just sent her flying with a tackle. And she also had some massive carries. Ruck defence and attack was just on the ball there. It was, fantastic game by Aoife Dalton. Sophie Barrett there, complete force of nature. Right place, right time, right decisions every time and time again. Scored 2 tries. Very unfortunate actually not to get a hat-trick in that game. Fantastic player. She was definitely helped on by some amazing kicks then by Dana O'Brien. There was actually one crossfield kick that matched any of the players that we've seen in the URC this week. Crossfield kick sat absolutely perfect from Maggie Boylan on the wing, with actually another Wolfhounds player to her right. It could have passed it, but perfect try in this in the corner, picture perfect. I suppose the tries there, just to name them, there was 2 tries from Sophie Barrett, 1 from India Daly, 1 from Maggie Boylan, 1 from Eve Higgins, and 1 from Linda Dugang. 2 conversions there overall, I think, from Dana O'Brien. Half-time score was 17-7, and the full-time score was 34-7. So 17 points apiece there, either half. Woman of the match there was Robin O'Connor. And look, if you haven't seen it, I do think you should tune in. It's a great tournament. It's a great piece of rugby. Get out there and support the women, especially the Leinster women, as you can see, there's a lot in that. Their next games is the Clovers versus Wolfhounds at 3 p.m. in the Craigs RFC in Galway. I'm sure that will also be streamed on YouTube. Then we also have Edinburgh away on the 10th of January at 3 p.m. And then home then again against Brighton Thunder in the Affidea Stadium in Belfast on the 18th of January at 12 p.m. Alright, so that is our episode 8. Thanks for listening, folks. The next game is the URC Winter Pros with Munster, 27th of December in Thomond Park. Our annual fight against the Reds over in Thomond in Limerick. So be looking forward to watching that. That's at 7:45 p.m. Our next episode hopefully will be out this side of Christmas, but it all depends on the team announcements. So you could be getting a Christmas special from me if the team announcements don't come out until Stephen's Day. If you haven't already, please do follow us on social media, Instagram, Reddit, Threads, Blue Sky. And look, happy Christmas. Make sure you ask Santi for a bonus point win in Thomond Park. And don't forget to put the cookies and milk out for him as well to get him extra sweet for it. Thanks for listening, folks.